guys, how's it going? It is Monday the 2nd of October 2017 and you're watching KopTalk.tv. Alright. Now you're either watching this on YouTube or you're watching it via the KopTalk podcast, which I upload to iTunes. So the videos that I put on YouTube, they are also uploaded onto the podcast, even though it's not the podcast, it's just to give people extra content and another way of viewing things. Alright, so we'll be doing a podcast today as well. So if you've got any opinions about the weekend or anything to do with LFC, please do email me, podcast@koptalk.com, and all of those emails are read out. Okay, and if you want more information on the podcast, which is completely free, just go to www.koptalkpodcast.com. Alright, so at the moment I'm doing as many episodes as I can, and I'll probably do a couple of extra episodes for people that want to support it. Alright guys, so I hope you had a good weekend away from the football. Obviously Liverpool were ineffective, not very good, not a very good performance. A lot of the players were below par. I just wanted to put this video on, a brief video, which means it'll only be 15 minutes long, to try and get your opinions on the game. I like to read your comments, and that's important to me. Yeah, just basically to see what you thought of the performance and the individual player ratings out of 10, things like that. There's not a lot to say really. A lot of the key players like Mane and that were off, weren't they? They didn't do anything. Sturridge, I'm sure I could run further than that cunt at the moment. It's just the same old story, guys, and I don't really see the point in going over and over and over it again, with you, because I think we all know what the issues are. I still can't believe that he didn't get a centre back, address the problem in the summer. We all know he tried to get Virgil van Dijk, but there was no plan B, which is a constant complaint that I'm hearing regards Klopp in terms of tactics, in terms of transfer targets. He didn't get that centre back, he didn't get a clinical striker, which is what I think that, before a ball was kicked, I thought that we really missed one, needed one. And again, I'll repeat I don't think that, when you got a kid that's like played as a striker from like the age of 6, 7 or something like that, he's got that awareness and understanding that he's had all through his career, and he's not being asked to play as a striker, versus someone that's been asked to play as a striker that may be a good attacking player, might be, a forward or whatever, but not a clinical striker, not someone that is just gets it, and I think that we lack that. I don't think Sturridge is the answer. I've been saying it for years. I'm baffled, to be honest, and quite withdrawn from it all. And I just think that you're going to say the same things. I really do. It was good to see Rafa. I always love seeing Rafa. I always love to see his interviews and things like that. I like the way that he sidesteps interviews, when he's certain questions and does his little, smiles and just stays out of things. He's very, very good with the media. Klopp looked like he was stressed again. It's just like it's not working, and I still can't get my head around why he bought Oxlade-Chamberlain. It's like, yeah, buy players like that as additions to the squad, but why spend that much money when it could have gone towards a centre back? And I know you can say, well, because he really wanted Virgil van Dijk, but am I bothered? I think it was that one, wasn't it? It's just, yeah, even if you get Virgil van Dijk, we still want another centre back when you look at it, really. So I don't really see why he didn't do that, and I'm just not convinced by that kid yet. But I think it's too soon to be overly critical on him. But like I say, and I'll keep saying it, I've got friends that support Arsenal, and all the time that they've seen him play, they still can't decide whether he's a good player or not. So I don't know. I think Klopp was a bit naive when he came to the English Premier League. It's not the German league. I'm just really disappointed, to be honest. But the same thing crops up again in terms of the ownership. All of these managers that we've had under their rule, they can't all be shit, So I still think that there is this issue above the manager, the certain policies, the way the club is run, and things like that do affect the management, the coaching of the team. in terms of, you know, investment and players, purchases, and the way that things are run. But that doesn't excuse, you know, the manager completely, because I don't care what anyone says, he had money available in the summer, he could have got a centre-back. You know, and just some of the things he says, there are no other centre-backs. There are no strikers. He said the other day, didn't he? He's happy with the strikers he has. It's just, I know a manager's got to say positive, nice things to keep his troops motivated and stuff like that, but sometimes, I'm spitting, sometimes, you know, just keep your mouth shut. And a lot of the things he's coming out with, if Brendan Rodgers had said them things, you'd be calling for him to be young, you know. But because we've got a guy with a nice personality and he's a winner, you know, shows it all and that, we, you guys do, not me, but you tend to give him a bit more leeway and stuff. And I don't know, I just think he disappoints me. He disappoints me, but I still have faith in him. You know, I'm not one of these people calling for him to be axed. When I say I've got faith in him, I hope that he's going to sort it out, but I'm just not convinced. I'm just not convinced by everything at the minute. And like I say, I think that the ownership is the biggest problem of it all, completely. You know, we talk about Manchester City and Chelsea. We can't compete with them financially. Why can't we compete with them financially? Because we haven't got the right owners at the club. And we allow it, we accept it. And now, Newcastle United could become the next powerful thing for all we know. Amanda Staveley was at the game, I'm sure you know that. I said prior to the game that she would be there. You know, she's involved with Newcastle in terms of, you know, she's backed to something like 28 billion or something from the Arab world, you know, from the investors behind her. She's also got the strong Chinese links. And I've spoke about this for months on here, you know, that she was going to come and try and get Liverpool again. She did. FSG won't want to do it. And what did I say? I said if she fails with Liverpool, which is the club that she's always wanted to introduce people to because of the history and the potential behind the club and the standing that the club has around the world as a global brand, what did I say would happen if that didn't happen? If FSG wouldn't deal or whatever. I said she'll go for Newcastle. And what's happened? She's at fucking Newcastle. Now, there is a slight twist to that, which I will talk about today in my DKB.TV video. For those of you that don't know, I do extra videos at www.dkb.tv. They help finance this project. All right, so there's like contribution. They're my people that want to support me and watch my extra videos. It's a bit more private. Whereas every fucker just watches on YouTube, you know. So I'm going to talk about something to do with Amanda Staveley. There is a little twist there. But, you know, there's a lot of people like latching on, say, oh, she's there for Liverpool. No, she was not there for Liverpool. All right? Not at all. I honestly think that she is like the answer to everything for us. I really do. And if they proceed with Newcastle, I honestly don't see what the future is long term for Liverpool. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Her people have got the money to buy into Liverpool Football Club and to make Liverpool Football Club as financially strong and sound as clubs like Manchester City and Chelsea. Now, you can go on about not wanting to throw money around and all, that's fine. It doesn't necessarily mean doing that, does it? I mean, that's a big part of it. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Liverpool compete with these clubs in the transfer market and buy the best players? Come on, you must get fucking sick and jealous when you see these players at Man City turning over Chelsea and stuff, and the players that they've got in both of their squads and that. It's only natural. But it's not just about that. These are people that, you know, actually enjoy and love football and want to attend the games and want to be a part of the club's success. And unfortunately, Liverpool Football Club is owned by people that are not bothered. And you know, Rafa Benitez said in the run-up to this game that he's just not, you know, under Moores and Parry, you know, they were football people. As you might not have rated them or whatever, you maybe didn't realise, but they were football people that ran the club as, you know, as a club, as a club, for sure. You know, whereas now he's saying that Liverpool Football Club is now just a business, and I don't know. Do you know what? Yesterday, I watched prior to the game. I watched, you know, Colin Moore closing in. Yeah, the Newcastle game, 4-3, and I can't believe how much the game has changed, how much football has changed for us especially. Because when I watched that and I thought, fuck me, God, did I used to love football? Did I used to love watching Liverpool? You know, and you're going to say to me, also, now Liverpool aren't successful, then you turned off by it all. No, because Liverpool weren't successful then either. You know, if that was the case, we'd have all switched off a long time ago. I've had it just totally sucked out of me, this ownership. I really have. And like I say, some people think I'm anti-FSG. I'm not. I just don't think they're the right people for us. You know, I don't support them in any particular positive way. I just don't think they're the right supporters for us. And I think a lot of people are turned off by the whole thing because of how the club's gone. Because even under Hicks and Gillette, I used to enjoy the fucking football, you know. And, you know, there was certain restraints put on the manager, and we obviously know that Rafa had to buy some freebies and cheap players, and, you know, he explained all that, didn't he, the last few days under what his budget was and stuff like that. And I just think that I just honestly, guys, I just think that I've woke up to it a lot sooner, and I think more and more people are agreeing with me, especially on the KopTalk members website. I'm seeing people on there that are just turned off by the whole thing, and they're not turned off because Liverpool aren't successful. They're turned off because they just don't see ambition with these owners, and they just realise that they're not going to do anything for us. And I think those of you that aren't like that and don't feel like that just haven't realised it yet, and I think you will do eventually. I really do. And trust me, guys, there's nothing I want more in the world for these people to be successful with the club. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And, you know, if Newcastle United secured investment, serious investment, could you imagine where that puts us then? I mean, Liverpool Football Club, one of the biggest and greatest football clubs in the world, right? Overtaken by Chelsea and Manchester City. Now, if you're a young pup, you know, a younger person, and that maybe that doesn't mean so much to you, maybe you've grown up in the Premier League, you know, but it's to old farts like me, it's just unthinkable. And, you know, Newcastle, great club, great fans, massive stadium, massive fan base, absolutely deserve, you know, that kind of investment and ambition. You know, they've gone through a lot with Ashley and that. I would be absolutely, totally, I couldn't think of a better club in some ways for it to receive, you know, that step up, really, than Newcastle. So I hope in some ways they do get it, but not at the expense of Liverpool, which would mean Amanda Staveley maybe. The thing is, Newcastle are involved with, you know, multiple investors at the moment, talking to them, multiple people. So it doesn't necessarily mean that that she will succeed. That her group or backers or whatever will move in. Maybe, you know, it will be just a part investment. I don't know. I'm not in line or in any way informed of things like that happen with that club or what's going on there. But there is a little twist that I'll talk about on DKB.TV today that I've seen and heard about. I want Newcastle to be, I think their fans deserve it, right? But I don't want us to lose her and her group, because I genuinely think, and I've thought this for months and I've said it before, that her lot are the last people. I can't see anyone else. I mean, maybe one day in the future there will be someone, but I can't see anyone else with the financial clout that could actually take Liverpool forward. And again, she's got backers, you know, from China, and she's got people in the Arab world and that, and it's the Arabs. I could do anything to get them fuckers on board, honestly, I really would. And again, you're going to say, what, because of the money? Yes, but because they fucking love football. They love football, man. You know, the Americans, and this isn't a dig at any of you American Liverpool fans, because you're passionate about Liverpool, you know, and the game. You've been brought up differently. But we all know that Americans are more into the baseball and basketball and American football and all that. That's their gig. That's their, like, it's understandable. I ain't got no criticism of John Henry and FSG and all that. That's their love. Baseball's their love, but Liverpool's not. I said it'd be 15 minutes long. Liverpool's not. Football's not. You know, and it's all very patronising and condescending. All of them. Even Linda now on Twitter gets on my tits. The chief executive gets on my tits. It's all very patronising. The whole thing's got to be ripped out of the club. It really has. And as for Klopp, I don't think he's going to be around for long anyway, guys. It's just a hunch I've got. I have no reason to scaremonger, or, you know, I'm just speculating. I just don't think that it's gonna happen. He may become successful. I'm not saying that he's going to be sacked or bombed or anything out of the club by FSG. I just don't see this whole thing happening for indefinitely. I just don't. I think that more and more people are waking up to the situation, and if they don't, then they've just really need to be examined, because it's not happening. It's not happening. You've got owners in place that cannot compete with the owners at the big clubs. We say big clubs to Chelsea now. I mean, we're a massive club, you know what I mean? But they're not a big club in terms of fan base and that, but they are considered a big club by potential signings and stuff like that. You know, guys, and our owners can't compete with them. They just can't. They can't, and you're allowing it. You're accepting it. So, I see people come online and go, whatever happened to this demands? Why are people demanding instant success? We're not talking instant success. We've been doing this for decades now. And it's not all their fault, but they're just not the right people. David Moyes knew he couldn't take Liverpool Football Club any further. So what did he do? For the good of the club, he stepped down. I wish he was still at the fucking club, because it's no better fucking further forward than it was back then. Unbelievable. It's just truly unbelievable. And it's got to change, guys. It's got to change. Something's got to give. And I think it'll. I just really think that there's going to be something, in the next few years as well. I feel like I've been saying it for forever. These people, they have to leave because they just fucking do. It's as simple as that. And we could be in a worse situation. We're not. This opinion isn't based on a 1-1 draw at Newcastle. We're not in a critical position in the league or anything. Excuse me. The owners can't be blamed for the manager's team selection, substitutions, formations, his option that he's happy with, what he has and everything. The owners can't be held accountable for everything, but they are at the top, and it's their policies, and I just feel like we're being held back. I still believe that we're very lucky to have Jurgen Klopp. I can't see anybody out there that would want the job ahead of him. Ancelotti's no mug. Why do you think he weren't interested last time? Because he knew that he would have no chance with these fuckers. Klopp, on the other hand, was unproven in the Premier League, an up-and-coming manager. A lot of other Premier League clubs would love him. The likes of Arsenal and stuff like that. They would do anything for him. But I don't know. I just get this feeling that he's not a yes man, but I just think that a manager coming in that isn't tried and tested in the Premier League or doesn't have a huge CV of success behind him isn't really in a position to challenge owners, and also maybe considers it a lucky position to be in. And being given this budget is probably like, when they're not used to it elsewhere, it's like, wow, this is amazing, I'm going to enjoy myself, I'm fortunate, and they're quite grateful and appreciative of the position they're in. It's like Brendan Rodgers when he took the Liverpool job. I mean, he must have thought, fuck me, how did I get this gig? So why would he want to challenge the owners? Because he wasn't in a position to challenge them. And I will always believe that's why I've never brought Rafa back, because he wouldn't have taken no shit. We know that he doesn't fuck around with any of the clubs he's been at. Once people start giving him lies or whatever, he speaks out instantly. That's why I think they never touched him, and that's why I think they got rid of Dalglish, because Dalglish was a very powerful man. They know that if they'd started doing things that he weren't happy with, it would have all kicked off. Because has there really been a huge improvement since Dalglish was at the club? They replaced the gamble with a gamble in Brendan Rodgers and so on. These are all topics we've talked about a million times before. So Klopp might, be successful. I just think that the amount of people in the game, especially associated with Liverpool Football Club, players, former managers even that I've spoken to, right? They've all got opinions about FSG, but they won't speak out publicly because that's not the Liverpool way. Yeah? I just wish that they would. I wish that they would, because then the supporters would listen, because there's so many supporters that are like, nah, we're all right, they're nice people, look, we're good, we don't need to do all this, And again, I just want to point out something. I'm not one of these supporters that wants us to go out and fucking expects us to win everything every fucking year. Not all I want us to do is to challenge. Is to challenge for these tournaments. To challenge. To look like we have a chance. To give 100%. Now, if everyone's giving 100%, I ain't got no complaints. Now, can you honestly say that FSG give 100% to Liverpool Football Club? Don't just mean financially, I mean in terms of appreciation and love, in overseeing things. We have a chairman that is not present at Liverpool games, and we allow that. We allow that. Someone like David Moores used to sit there in that director's box at every game because he supported Liverpool Football Club and he wanted the best for the club. And when we lost, he suffered the same pain that you suffered, or we suffered. We have an empty seat. We have an empty seat looking forward. What would you give to be sat in that seat as chairman of Liverpool Football Club? You'd give anything. And we have someone that's not even interested. So I'm sorry, but if you bought a business, a fucking chippy, a fruit and veg shop, a fucking news agent or whatever, and if you don't attend that shop on a regular basis, is your passion and heart really in that business? Is it really going to succeed? You might employ someone to do it, but we've all got opinions about how things should be run and how they should be in place. And how do you know that people are not taking the piss? Or how you've got to see everything for yourself. If I have a business, a physical business, a bar or anything, yeah, of course I would put someone in to run it, because I don't want to be flogging my fucking guts out doing it. But I'm going to be in there all the time to make sure that cunt's doing it. I'm going to be in there every day, checking things out, seeing how things are going. I'm going to be there every day showing my customers that I care about them. All right, Big Dunk, how's it going? Yeah, I'm all right, Dave. Yeah, I'm sound, mate. Are they all looking after you? Yeah. Make people feel special. It's the same thing, just on a smaller scale and different industry. So if you ain't got people that turn up, how can it ever really truly be successful? It can't. And Amanda Staveley, in my opinion, is the last fucking chance. I can't. All right, it might not be the last chance. Maybe someone will come out eventually one day. These fuckers, man, the pressure needs putting on them big time. And I consider myself a former Liverpool supporter, guys, because I can't get into this anymore under these people. They have sucked it out of me. I am withdrawn. I am depressed. You've seen me flapping my videos. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Meaning the whole thing. The website. It's like, because every day I have to oversee conversations of people, and I'm watching people defend these fucking people, and I'm seeing idiots come out saying, sack Klopp. And I can't handle it anymore. It's so depressing for me. They've sucked it all out of me, because I just think to myself, in the past, if something went wrong, you'd always think, there's always next week. But next week, I don't see any different. I don't see any different next month or next year under these people. I just don't see it. And it's sad. It's sad because Liverpool Football Club is amazing. They don't care. They don't care. And I'm not an extremely, I'm not one of these extremists, that's like, wants to hang them for everything. I'll defend them when I think they need defending. I will. But that doesn't mean that I support them. I consider myself a former supporter, because it's not there. The Liverpool Newcastle game 4-3, that I was telling you about, that I watched yesterday, because they were obviously showing a lot of the old clips. The passion that I felt from watching that and seeing Rush and Barnes, Fowler, McManaman, Redknapp, all these players, and then on the TV studios listening to people like Souness, all these people that care about the club. And they're all not, these types are not there anymore. Even in the players, they're not there anymore. And I was talking to someone about it yesterday, who was watching it with me, that's not a Liverpool fan, that's not really into football. And they said, look at the difference in the players there to today in terms of presentation. They're all pretty boys out there. You look at our prettiest boys in our squad now, right? They're probably the poorest players in our squad. Yeah? Would you not agree? So, I'm not saying that Fowler and Carragher and McManaman and all that were ugly cunts, but they weren't posers. They were just lads that wanted to play for the club. The same with the other generations before them. Whereas today they're more bothered about how they look, what they've got. That's not the owner's fault. That's just the game. How the game's changed. TV companies and foreign investors have ruined the game, and that's it. And we haven't got these leaders in that team at the moment, and that's something that the manager needs to address. That's not the fucking owners, is it? And all these players in the game today are not all Ponces and fucking look at me, you know what I mean? There are some leaders out there. I watch a lot of Italian football, and and I know you're going to go, don't bring any Italians, but they're not all Italians playing Italian football. And I see leaders, and I'm disappointed with Klopp, with a lot of his decisions, and but even in his defence, I will say that the way that the club is structured, run, the what's the word, guys? Not directives, policies or whatever. They have to have an effect on his job. But then you've got an inexperienced manager in some regards in the Premier League. He hasn't really, he hasn't got that huge trophy haul, say like Ancelotti, or proven CV. So can he really, challenge the owners, for example? And why would he? Because he's truly grateful to be in this position of managing Liverpool Football Club. Whereas someone like Ancelotti or Mourinho, they're just like, you should be grateful I'm here, right? Let's get this shit done. And that's the kind of attitude we want. Klopp, I don't care what you say, is coming out with stuff just like Brendan Rodgers did. But you will continue to defend him because a lot of you are fucking, you just won't accept any form of criticism and start coming out with this real fan shit. If someone said that to me, I go, I'm not even a fan at all, mate. I couldn't give a fuck. At the end of the day, I'm bothered about the fans. Yeah, I'm bothered about the history, and that's about it. The team, certain players, I like, certain players I don't like. I think they're just taking piss. That's just the way I am, and if that makes me a bad person, I couldn't give a fuck at all, in the fucking slightest. Now, I will find my love and that for it all again when they've gone. I know I will. I come to my office on a day, so I'm like, here we go again. Because they've fucking pushed it out with me. Some of you guys have followed my work for 20 years online through the website. I'm a passionate motherfucker. You've seen me when I get that tripod out, when I'm fucking ranting. I care, deep down. But they've just sucked it out of me to the point where I just think, fuck it. Nothing to do with like turning my back on Liverpool because they're not successful. They haven't been successful for fucking decades. Not that at all. Get behind the team. Get behind the team. What? Do you really think the team gives a fuck about you? How many players in that team do you think give a fuck? Fuck that shit. You'll be lucky if you get half a dozen. Not even that. You'll be fucking lucky. There's no Carragers. There's no Gerrards. There's no leadership. There's no Warriors. They're all Ponces. Majority of them. There's a few players in that team I think are great that I would stand there and I'd fucking pay to watch them and I'd support them without a doubt. And I want the team to be successful. So don't try and twist my words. You probably don't even understand what I mean, some of you. And you probably can't understand it or relate to it. But I don't want to be sucked in anymore by these fuckers. I really don't. And I don't know what can be done. I honestly don't know what can be done. But if you're in any way slightly disappointed by the ownership, then you have to express that. Don't sit there thinking I'm a nobody and no one's going to listen to me, because they fucking do. If you're on Twitter, you get on Twitter, you reply to that chief executive in any of his tweets and you say, I'm not happy with this ownership. You don't have to be nasty, you don't have to be abusive like some of these pricks online. You just go on and say, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. So you're going to think to yourself, what difference does that make? I'll tell you what difference that makes, right? When someone like the chief executive puts a tweet out, right, people go underneath to see all the replies, and that's how they gauge how people are feeling. So the more people that do that, respectfully, they fucking see this shit. If you're on a forum, whichever forum you are, if you're not on the KopTalk free forums or the members website, shame on you, you motherfuckers. Right? If you're flirting with some other Liverpool website, that's up to you. But you should be on there, respectfully saying, I don't agree with him. Don't like him. Don't think this club's going anywhere. Right? You got a website of your own, a blog, you write an article, and you say stuff, and you post it, and you share it, and you talk to people about it. Because they're obsessed with their image. The minute their image goes down, they'll be gone. I'm fucking telling you. And when it turns up, when it gets nasty, which is what I think it will do, right? That's when they'll go. I think that will speed up the whole process. And I predict that that's what's going to happen. And I think we're starting to see the start of that now. We have people that have been unhappy for a few years, people like myself, some of the groups out there, right? But a lot of people were like, give them time, you know, but these people now, they're starting to wake up, they're starting to see it, they're starting to realise that we're not going to go forward with these people. And more people are coming round. And you've got to think about this, right? The more and more people coming around, they're at the bottom here, right? But the people that were here, that were unhappy 3 or 4 years ago, they're now up here, they're getting fucking angry, and they're going to get up here. And before you know it, it's going to get really nasty online. I don't mean they're going to be outside the ground doing like silly things on that. People are just going to start voicing it. I've seen it. This is my job. I watch this shit. I watch everything and every fucking one, right? I gauge it to see what's happening. And I've seen this pattern, and it's increasing. It's increasing. And you know what happens when people do that? We see a bit of PR come out or something. It's very quiet at the moment. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I'm not condoning any kind of hatred. I don't agree with it. Passive guy. I'm a big lad. I'm a fucking big lad, but I'm a pussy. I like it nice and quiet. You know what I'm saying, guys? But, right, speak your mind, speak your opinion, do it sensibly. No one can knock you. If you think that we're going to be successful under these people, I really don't want to be disrespectful towards you. I really don't, because you're entitled to your opinion. And, you know, it's not about who's right or who's wrong. We all have different levels of passion. We're all different ages, which affects opinions, different backgrounds and that. Then that's fine. I think you'll come round eventually. It's the snowflakes, the LFC snowflakes that are fucking it up. So, and like I say, this isn't my I'm not like particularly angry about yesterday's game. Do you know why? I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. I'm just trying to convince myself. I'm just not bothered. That's it. I'm not bothered. And the manager has to be held responsible for certain things. But that's just what I think. The problem is Liverpool go out the next game, they win 3-0, everyone forgets it again, because that's what football sports are like, thick as fuck. Right, I'll leave it with you guys. So if you're watching this on the iTunes thingamajig, would you please leave me a review? Because I get nasty people on there leaving bad reviews. Email me podcast@KopTalk.com and I will read out your emails. If you see this video now, you know, like ASAP, like Monday or something, then feel free to discuss this the Newcastle game, and I'll get them out in my next podcast, which will be Monday probably, and later today, and also Tuesday. I'm going to be doing through the week. Obviously, the further it goes on, they're not as relevant, are they? But so you can email me about anything, podcast@KopTalk.com, to do with the ownership, Klopp, if you think I'm right or wrong, whatever. That's fine. If you want to defend FSG and tell me why they're all right, I want to know why you think that. I want to know why you think that. So email me, guys. If you want to listen to the podcast where these videos are also uploaded, like I said, just go to KopTalkPodcast.com, and at the top centre, I think in the middle, there's a couple of links where it tells you how to get the podcast. Okay. And obviously, if you watch on YouTube, then please do leave your comments as normal. So that I get your emails through and I can see what you're saying. Right, that was a lot longer than I expected. That was my brief video, 33 minutes long already and counting. I'm going to dkb.tv now because we're going to talk about Amanda Staveley and a little interesting point with regards to her attendance at Newcastle yesterday. And maybe we'll discuss a few other things. Alright guys, listen, an international break again. I can't fucking believe it. Alright, I love you. Hope you had a good weekend. I'll speak to you real soon. Alright.